Barcelona new star, Chutian's legendary rise begins. Episode 61. Chutian's heavy cannon scored. Seems to have completely activated the whole field. It also boosted the morale of Barca teammates on the pitch. The game continues. Mallorca's kickoff. Number 17 Alana wanted to work with Sissoko, but the passing of the two was quickly destroyed by the high pressure of Barca's front. Barca easily got the ball. Chutian began to cross the position frequently with Iniesta and Busquets. Football is like a mischievous elf, cheering on the green field, at the feet of the three people, shuttling back and forth. Driven by the rhythm of the three people, Barca gradually pressed forward in the entire formation. Mallorca, who was one goal behind, was powerless and could only retreat to his own half under the pressure of passing. They couldn't do anything about it. Sissoko no longer dared to easily save his feet, for fear that after failing to grab the ball and losing his position, he would be seen through by Chutian and seize the opportunity. This French genius, Xavi, had already realized Chutian's supervision. The whole Barca team seemed to come alive. It's like tight gears. Football is centered on Chutian, constantly passing back and forth. Every pass is extremely reasonable. It's either a hidden killer or it's touching the hearts of Mallorca defenders. Mallorca players, who are one goal behind, recall the fear of being dominated by Barca's passing in La Liga in previous years. Everyone in Barca, the line of passing. It's like making a painting. Chutian was the painter. If you stand at the top of the course and look down on the entire stadium, you will find that this picture is full of beauty. Matador Nation, in front of thousands of households on television. Barca fans cheered wildly. Damn. I think Barca are about to score again. Haha, this is the blood flowing in Barcelona. This is Barca's passing. Vamos Barca. That Barca is back. Genius. Yengua's young general is a genius. As soon as he came on the pitch, it was like Xavi was back. Chutian. It was God's gift to La Masia. The game came to the 75th minute. Chutian and Iniesta wonderful to be on. Come to Mallorca's half-court belly, 45 meters from the goal. Take the ball to shoot. Sissoko exclaimed, this boy is shooting from a distance again. French little black, throw the body directly. He is competent. I have a precise grasp of timing and speed. Chutian's shot will definitely be blocked by me. Wrong, not a shot. Chutian fake shot true legend. Pass the ball diagonally to Uchiha. Iniesta had no room to break through. Touched the ball with one foot, and passed it back to Chutian. This time and again, pulled multiple defenders on Mallorca's left. The football returned to Chutian's feet. Sissoko has climbed up, close-knit pressing, aimed at the soccer ball, stretched out his feet. Chutian smiled. This little black is really tenacious, and the defensive action is really clean. He took the ball with the inside of his foot and turned. Turn around and get rid of it again. Easily get rid of Mallorca's back. Next, Chutian took the ball, and also with two defenders from Mallorca, to the right. From God's perspective, suddenly, Messi's figure in front of the right side of the road appeared. Chutian slowed down his rhythm and made a gesture to pick up the pass. The Mallorca players who were watching him were too late to get out. Distance is not enough. He's going to pick on it. Can't get close to the pass. Sissoko and another defender hurriedly took 2 steps back. Want to jump up and block the pass line. French little dark said, this distance, my height is 190, jump up, you can destroy this provocation. The 2 Mallorca players in the distance also rushed to Messi's side, trying to intercept the landing point of the pass. This is a short moment. Mallorca's backline is in chaos. It's now. God's perspective shows multiple passing lines. Moment. Chutian made a choice. The instep of the outer foot is pumped at the bottom of the soccer ball. The football jumps high. High-speed swing. Evokes a beautiful arc. Laterally crossed most of the course. Landed at the feet of the inner few on the left side. Pass without vision. Sissoko's pupils dilated slightly. I'm fooled again. He's not going to pass it on to Messi. Iniesta easily stopped the ball. Brazil's talented goalscorer faced the goalkeeper directly. The exclamations in the stands had already sounded. Iniesta dashed a kick and shot. The goalkeeper judged the right direction, but couldn't do anything about it. Football burrowed into the dead corner of the goal. 3-1. Barca are leading again. Chutian assists less. Wonderful. Fake shooting real legend. God level, get rid of it. Pretending to be a provocative transmission, it is actually a large-scale long transmission. Chutian's continuous fake actions made Mallorca's backline chaotic. Courtside, Enrique cheered. In the eyes of the Barca boss at this time, there is only Chutian, and there are heavy artillery long-range shots. There is pulling. Have a vision. There is a ball quotient. Chutian will definitely be Barca's new brain. Winsu and the players on the bench also rushed to the sidelines. Raised his fist in excitement. Rakitic looked dazed. He looked at Chutian on the field sluggishly. Yengua teenager, far better than himself. And the speed of his progress. 1,000 miles a day. He realized he was about to lose his place as Barca's starting midfielder. Pick up a dry towel and cover your face. Episode 62, back to the game. Chutian completely ruled the midfield. After leading by 2 goals, he wasn't in a hurry, slowly guided the opposing formation on the right side. 85th minute. Chutian and Messi cooperated on the right side. The ball passes back and forth at the feet of the duo, pulled 4 Mallorca defenders. Messi showed the world what a reverse right winger is. He's a left-footed player, although his right foot is also far stronger than other players. Messi, after seeing Chutian's pass, stop the ball directly with your feet and keep the ball away from the players in Mallorca. Take advantage of the high-speed activation of the direction change and cadence to pass the opposing 2 defenders. Then take advantage of the incision advantage of the reverse foot winger to cut the ball directly inside. Found Iniesta. Machio Wang has pulled the edge at this time. Iniesta touched the ball with 1 foot. The diagonal pass came back to Messi's feet. These several series of actions directly stunned Mallorca's defenders. Machio Wang has observed. Chutian was already waiting on the outermost side of the right road. Messi made a freehand pass. Come to Chutian's feet. Chutian directly crossed from the bottom. Mallorca's players were stunned. It was the era of the in-cut era of the reverse winger. Do you run to the wing with a midfielder and cross from the bottom? Mallorca's manager didn't make a defensive layout for the sporting battle against the bottom cross, because Neymar and Messi are both double-footed wingers, including Barca's left and right fullbacks, Alba, Alves, Dry. Barca in addition to corner kicks. When has the sports war ever had a bottom cross? What the hell is going on with this young man from Yenwa? He made up for Barca's shortcomings. The desperate Mallorca manager has predicted the outcome of the long pass. Football spins at high speed, flew to the forbidden zone. The route in the cross is extremely ambiguous. Let the Mallorca goalkeeper dare not attack. Inside the restricted area, Busquets didn't know what was behind and plugged in. He jumped high. A header. Broke. 4-1. Barca lead by 3 goals. They killed the game. In the stands, Barca fans cheered. Many Mallorca fans have already left the stadium, disappointed early. During the CTV5 live broadcast, Duan Xian murmured excitedly, Chutian. On his La Liga debut, he scored 1 goal and 2 assists. Incredible Chutian. It's unprecedented again. Chutian brought us too many surprises. Busquets hugged Chutian tightly. The Barca back hasn't scored many goals since joining the first team in 2008. The header was the first time. The other teammates also ran forward, excitedly scratched Chutian's black hair. Beep. Beep 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 beep. The referee blew the end of the game. The match was frozen at 4-1. In the final minutes of the game, Mallorca did not perform miracles, but they still held the door and blocked Barca's threatening attack. The Barca players hugged each other. The Mallorca players sat on the ground in frustration. Sissoko's eyes are red. The French genius Xiao Black made his La Liga debut, not only lost the ball, but also was thwarted by the Yenwa teenager. Chutian looked at the French little black from afar and gave up the idea of wanting to come forward to comfort. This black brother is killing 4 parties in the British Super in a few years. Do you still need comfort? With cameras in hand, reporters rushed into the stadium, frantically aiming at him for photos. Chutian was elected as the best MVP player of the whole game. They absolutely believe that Chutian will definitely be the hottest new star in La Liga. Post-match press conference. In order to protect Chutian, Enrique took Iniesta to sit in front of the microphone. Reporters asked frantic questions. Iniesta, what do you think of the youngster who has performed brilliantly in 2 consecutive games? Is Chutian La Masia's secret weapon? His style of play is simply innately integrated into Barca. Iniesta organized the language for a moment and replied with a smile. Chu is really good. He's not from the La Masia Academy, but he understands La Masia football better than any of our Barca players. He has a high ball quotient. He can drive the entire team's midfield offensive and defensive conversion. He is born to be Barca's new brain. The reporters bowed their heads and flew to the small books. Soon, newspaper headlines came out. Barcelona's new brain, the seamless connection of the new Xavi. New hope for Yenwa football, Super Chutian. Barca new signings, earth-shattering heavy artillery breaks the door. Flawless, 2 long pass assists. Meanwhile, the highlights of Chutian's debut in La Liga appeared on several popular short video platforms of Yenwa Network. Soon it was on the hot search again. All of a sudden, the whole country is shaking. The number of likes and comments, the number of retweets soared. I can't imagine any words to describe it. Amazing, Chutian played well abroad. Don't come back. Come back and ruin it. Rest assured, you won't be back. All are banned. This experience of Chutian. I suspect it's a football movie. Why didn't Chutian take the endorsement? 618 is coming soon. What does he endorse? I'll just buy it. Upstairs, Chutian, if you endorse underwear, do you buy? Episode 63. Early morning in the hot country. Lao Wang got up and habitually turned on the TV. Then get ready to brush your teeth and wash your face to work. He suddenly found out. Morning news broadcast. Actually there is sports news? What's going on? He put down his toothbrush, come to the TV in the living room, turned up the sound. At yesterday's La Liga opener, Barca 4-1 Big Mallorca club, our player Chutian, 1 goal and 2 assists, won the MVP of the whole game. This is the first time that a Yenhua player has broken the ground. Chutian is a role model for Yenhua's overseas players. Is a role model for the players of the Yen country. Lao Wang looked at the TV station logo in the upper left corner of the screen in surprise and muttered, "Isn't this a movie channel? The digging is real. Yenhua has produced such a powerful player." Same, thousands of people in Yenhua, who do not pay attention to football, heard a name early this morning, Chutian. Meanwhile, Douyin, Chopsticks, 13 stations, and other online media are also frantically reporting Chutian's La Liga debut show. Chutian's heavy cannon shot. How much km/s per hour? After Chutian's debut, domestic football sales soared. I'll show you how hard it is for Chutian's magic to circle in circles. All-round review. The first perspective takes you to analyze Chutian's pass. Even the netizens of Yenhua who do not watch the ball are bombarded with such information in all directions. They click on the video, or brush the video, and unconsciously stop. Is this really football? So handsome. Is Barca club great? Many times better than the real estate team, right? Wow. What a great. Football can also be played like this. Love, love. I always brushed the news of the national football team losing, and today I desperately pushed the video of Chutian. This feeling. Hell heaven, Chutian is so handsome. Road to powder. ANTA headquarters building. General Manager Lee hung up the phone. The excitement is beyond words. Just now, he contacted the Barca club. Although it was learned that Chutian had an agent, endorsement cooperation of sports brands should be negotiated with agents, but it gave him hope. Mr. Lee thought about it and picked up the mobile phone again. Let Xiao Wang and a few of them come in. Moments later, 7 or 8 men in suits and leather shoes came to Mr. Lee's office. Mr. Lee said seriously, "Now I have a heavy responsibility to entrust to you. Go to Matador Nation now." Barca club. Xiao Wang was a little confused. General Manager Lee, we still have to talk to the Football Association about the endorsement of the new season of the Chinese Super League, and the leaders of the Football Association have relaxed, saying that as long as 30 million can be LED billboards in the home of several Chinese Super League teams. Mr. Lee frowned and said loudly, "Talk to the FA Association about a fart. Chinese Super League? Mad. We charge so much money every season. The purchase conversion rate is low. Who looks at the Chinese Super League now? Have any of you seen the Chinese Super League?" Everyone looked at each other. They really hadn't seen the Chinese Super League several times. Mr. Lee, Matador country? Barca club? Are we going to talk to Chutian about endorsement cooperation? Ah. I read his collection, what a cow. Xiao Wang suddenly realized. Mr. Lee nodded, yes, it is to talk about endorsement cooperation with Chutian. A few of you now, immediately, go through the formalities now. A young man said, General Manager Lee, you are too arbitrary. Do you want the marketing department to do market research and big data analysis? We have to determine the big data user portrait of Chutian's fan audience. Mr. Lee's face changed. You horse is a fool, right? Still want to investigate? Analyze? You have a brain problem. Xiao Wang wondered, General Manager Lee, Chutian. Will he be able to look up to our domestic brand? Audi and Nike, Biama, will definitely talk to him about cooperation. He is a new star in La Liga, his agency. Basically will not consider ours. Mr. Lee was displeased. How do you know without trying? Hurry. Don't rub it. Meanwhile, other sports brands in the country, crazy on the flight to Barcelona, they knew what Chutian meant. Who can cooperate with Chutian? Who can monopolize the market of Yen country? Behind Chutian. It contains great market value. No need to go through any professional market analysis. You can think of it with your ass. How much influence will Chutian have in the future? Even the throat lozenge of a certain golden voice sent staff to the Matador Nation. Barca training ground, 7:30 in the morning. Uncle Janitor holds a backpack. Found Chutian, who was sweating profusely at the training match. Your phone is ringing. Chutian was a little strange. Who would call me early in the morning? Their mobile phone numbers, few people know. Thank you, sir. He took the backpack. A look at the phone. It was a call from Mr. Mino. The voice of the short and fat man is like a broken gong in the early morning. Hey. My dear Chutian. Bub. Your La Liga debut yesterday was so eye-catching and highlighted. Audi and Nike have contacted me and want to talk to me about your endorsement cooperation. But before I do that, I have to help you get Barca to renew your contract. Hey. After this La Liga opener, the old guys at the top of the Barca club must not be able to sit still. Episode 64, 9 o'clock in the morning. Reception room of the La Masia building. Barca sporting director Robert lit a cigar and said anxiously, Enrique, that fat vampire is still half an hour away. I don't have time to see him for the time being. The club needs you to talk to Chutian's agent in person. With that, he walked out of the reception room. Sitting on the couch, the Barca manager and assistant coach looked at each other. When Sue was dissatisfied, Coach, Robert, this shameless guy, pushed Chutian's contract renewal issue to us. Enrique Stallholder, Chutian's jersey is selling, but his agent is Mino Raiola. In European clubs, it is normal for the manager to talk to the player's agent about contracts. In the 1990s, before the emergence of the position of sports director, the head coach of Europe was responsible for negotiating the contracts of players. A hearty laugh rang out. The short fat man took the little assistant and strode into the reception room. The great Barcelona champions coach. Hello, I am your loyal fan, Mino. Mr. Enrique, you are much better than the coward of Roberto. Mino Raiola's fat face trembled, and the skin smiled and did not smile. The club's negotiations with the player's agent are a war without smoke. Consider both the win-win situation in business and the competition under the rules. Enrique smiled too, stood up, and shook hands with Mino Raiola. The short fat man immediately took out a contract and placed it on the table. Wensu quickly picked it up and flipped through it. The contract was simple, with only 4 pages. But the more Barca's assistant coach looked, the more frightened he became. Coach. Enrique also took a look at the contract and frowned. An annual salary of 10 million euros? Player contracts renewed every 2 years? 20 million euros for signing? And so many bonus terms? Portrait and name development of part of the interest? 100 million euros? Only 2 years of use? The Barca boss couldn't help but take a breath of cool air. He calmly said, Mr. Mino, you know, Messi's annual salary is 20 million euros. Mino Raiola laughed and said, compared to other main players, Chutian's annual salary is not high. Isn't it? Enrique nodded, then shook his head. This dead fat man is really powerful, almost fooled. The most important thing is the 2-year contract, and the signing fee of 20 million euros. Immediately, he discovered something very important. This short fat man did not even state his share of the commission on the contract. When Mino Raiola manipulated the transfer of Ibrahimovic and Balotelli, he not only took the commission from the players, but also sucked a lot of money from the club. See, Enrique did not respond. The short fat man was dissatisfied. Your club, for a mediocre Rakitic, have paid a transfer fee of 21 million euros. His annual salary is 8 million euros. The signing fee is also 22 million euros. Our Chutian will turn your club temporary contract into a formal contract. These days, his jerseys are out of stock. Enrique pondered for a moment and nodded. If you look at the strength of the players alone, the annual salary and signing fee that Mino won for Chutian are not excessive. Chutian proved his worth in the European Super Cup and the La Liga opener. Mr. Mino, your request is not excessive at all. I am sure the club's top management will agree. As for the 100 million euros of portrait and name development of part of the interest, this is the Barca market director needs to talk to you. Mino Raiola's face turned dark and she smiled. Believe in the top level of Barcelona, you will not be unaware of what a great country is behind Chutian. But I have one more request. The assistant presented a supplementary agreement. Enrique and Wensu frowned. What tricks does the short fat man have? The two looked at the agreement and were surprised. Playing time? The short fat man nodded. Chutian, his strength. It is completely possible to get more stable playing time at Barca. He needs more exposure. Will bring greater business value. I'm very unhappy with his current bench playing time. Enrique nodded. The question of playing time is related to Barca's entire tactical system, and I can't give you a definite answer right away. It doesn't matter, there are no players' contract negotiations that can be done in one day. I will be at Barca for a week. Hopefully, the Barca club's top brass has tightened up. The short fat man stood up, waved at the Barca manager, and then left with his little assistant. When Sui wondered, Coach, I think I can agree to the request of the short and fat man. Chutian's strength is worthy of the starter. Enrique smiled. I know, recently I was also conceiving a midfield combination with Chutian as the core, but we don't have to agree so quickly. When Sui was shocked, a midfield combination with Chutian as the core? Enrique did not say a word and handed him the contract and the supplementary agreement. Leave that to sporting director Robert. Episode 65. After 2 days of hard training, Chutian gained 2 freely assigned attribute points. In the second round of La Liga, Barca will host Atletico Madrid. He thought about it and added 2 attribute points to his physical fitness. The current physical fitness attribute has also come to 80 points. Club Madrid. Assistant coach Burgos, walking into the head coach's office, asked incomprehensibly, Boss, why are you looking at 3 screens at the same time? Barca's UEFA Super Cup, Barca's La Liga start of the season, and the Barca youth team game? Burgos was a little confused. Simone laughed and asked, how do you think we should play against Barca now? Burgos didn't think twice, and rightly said, defensive counterattack. Simone shook his head and cut the railroad, no. Sevilla and Mallorca already tell us the answer. Defensive counterattack for Barca now. Useless. We're going to play 442, release Saul and Godin, put in great defense in depth, and kill the long passes of the Yenwa boy. We're going to oppress Barca's midfield ribs, oppress this Yenwa boy. Block his pass on the left rib of the formation and drive him to the narrow side. Strangle him at close range of short passing points. We want to form a dense cross-defense line in Barca's rib area, squeezing Barca's middle road by shrinking the formation. Barca's passing? I'm going to strangle in the cradle. Burgo suddenly realized, boss, Barca's Yenwa teenager has really performed well in the last 2 games, but Enrique may not let him start. In recent matches, Barca's main midfielder has been Rakitic. Simeone laughed, if you don't let the Yenwa youngster start, then Barca will wait to lose. Barca's biggest threat to Atletico is Messi. This Yenwa young general, Chutian. Also, Burgo seemed to remember something and asked, boss, there are too many candidates for the forward position now. 442 formation, who will form the front line with Griezmann? Is it Carrasco or Torres? Barca training ground. The players were doing warm-ups on the field. There will be another group match soon. Enrique and Wensu repeatedly swiped their fingers on the tactical board. If Chutian is regarded as the new core of the midfield, our 433 formation can be changed to 352 or 361 according to the situation on the field, which can liberate Messi on the right and let him take on the responsibility of a free man in the front. Barca's entire attack will be on a slice, with Alba and Alves moving forward, with row paving. Lateral pull. It will definitely catch those old opponents off guard. Also, Chutian has a long-range shooting ability, and we have to give him a certain right to fire. Wensu gushed. Enrique thoughtfully, this is obviously the exact same tactical formation change when Xavi was in the team. Don't seem to worry too much. Use Chutian as Xavi, you can. The only change that the Barca coaching staff has to make is to optimize the tactical details according to some of Chutian's characteristics. Of course, there are also experiments. Alba, Alves, and Messi were also called out by Wensu. Enrique began to teach the 3 men face-to-face. If Chutian is the core of the midfield, then the change of the position of these 3 people in the game will be very critical. The 3 of them listened and instantly realized. Spread out the offensive width? They are all too familiar with this style of play. Moments later, the group playing training session within Barca began. In order to execute the new tactical arrangement of the head coach, Chutian came to the A team and partnered Busquets and Iniesta. Rakitic was assigned to Team B. It was the first time he had been placed on Team B in a training match since joining. Hear this list. Rakitic angrily yelled at Wensu, teaching assistant, what are you doing? Assign me to Team B, that's what I'm thinking. If there was no appearance of Chutian, the main midfielder doesn't have that much of a reaction, but this time, he felt his team standing and playing time under great threat. Why? Every time this Yenwa boy appears in the game, he replaces himself. I admit that he has been very good in his last 2 games, but why can I still replace my place in the group training match? Rakitic could not control his emotions for a moment. He angrily took off his vest. Thrown to the ground, turn around and leave the training ground. Barca's teammates looked sideways. Rakitic ate gunpowder today? Isn't it just a normal group confrontation training? What's so bad about partnering with our B team? Roberto said he didn't understand. Chutian glanced at it, his expression was calm, and he didn't speak. In his memory, after Barca experienced the pain of Xavi's departure in his previous life, Enrique carried out a major reform of Barca, gradually abandoning the passing control, allowing Barca to play high and pressing, playing counterattack, and Rakitic transformed into a free man on the defensive end of the midfield. Coach Enrique looked at Rakitic's back with displeasure on his face. He had high hopes for Rakitic. Even some of the original tactical reforms were tailor-made for him. Wensu rushed to the rest area and shouted, Rafinha, you come up, go to Team B. Then the training game whistle blew. Episode 66. The historical moment of Camp Nou. Chutian, the first Yenwa. The training session begins. Team A took the lead in kicking off. Suarez passed the ball back to Chutian. Chutian knocked the ball across to Busquets. The formations of both teams are changing. Team B is like Enrique's original experimental reform. They are in the A team's half. 23 people form a regional interception chain. Began to try to block Chutian's passing line. Followed by, Team A's formation also began to change. Messi came to the middle. Alba plugged in. A change in formation in just 1 instant. Let Chutian's vision have more choices of passing lines. Team B's high interception chain didn't have much effect. 433 became 352. Moments later, press forward with the formation. Alves also began to move up. The players of the A team cooperated with Chutian to run. Chutian's choices were also increasing. Team B was pressed to the back of their own half. Team A's formation changed back to 433 again, just this moment. Team B's backline was too late to adjust. From God's point of view, a golden line appeared again in Chutian's vision. Messi gave the ball back to him. Chutian did not stop the ball. One kick pumping. The ball burrowed into the net. 1-0. Players on both sides applauded. Chutian's expression was calm, and he was looking back at the change in Barca's formation just now. The core of the tactic is still pass control. However, through the change of position of the personnel, The choice of pass control has become more and more diverse, making full use of the width of the stadium. The game continues. Team A, with Chutian as the core of the midfield, caused a unilateral crush on Team B and 190. Courtside, when Sui smiled, "Coach, you see how well Chutian combs? This feeling is like going back to the time when Harvey was still there." Enrique nodded. "Well, against Atletico, we still need to strengthen the defensive tuning of the set pieces. Let Chutian start." At this moment, the Barca boss abandoned the long-conceived defensive counterattack, with Rakitic as the core. Chutian will be the new midfield core of Barca. Rakitic had a black face and a lot of resentment. He felt that he would go from an absolute main force to a marginal person. Drove away from the Barca club. When passing a red light, he picked up his phone and dialed the broker's number. "Mr. Sals, I need you to put pressure on Barca." The voice on the other end of the phone revealed doubts. "Rakitic? Pressure? What's going on? In the last 2 games, you've been the starter." Rakitic was silent for half a second, and began to vent his dissatisfaction with Enrique and Chutian. The other side, Mino Raiola, who learned of the news from the Neil of the Sals company, rushed to the La Masia building. An hour later. La Masia building, reception room. Barca sporting director Robert met with Rakitic's agent, Milk Scholes. "Mr. Sals, the sun is shining well today, shining your path on La Masia." "Robert, I'm not in the mood to hear you say this. Rakitic may be moving away from Barca during the winter break." Sals's expression was angry. Robert frowned. "What's going on?" "Rakitic is our main midfielder." Thors was dissatisfied. "You gave up Rakitic for the sake of a young man from the hot country. Barca will regret it." "Robert, you know, Inter Milan, Manchester United, in order to get Rakitic, both of their clubs are willing to pay liquidated damages." Barca's sporting director's face has changed dramatically. "Mr. Thors, you are discouraged. I will go and find out with Enrique. About Rakitic, I will solve it." Robert was so humane that he naturally guessed something. "I hope you Barcelona can give me and my client Rakitic a satisfactory answer. Say it." Sals walked out of the reception room, breathlessly. Robert sat back on the couch and secretly said, "This is not easy to do. The economic benefits brought by Rakitic are also quite a lot, and Barca will also face a third-tier battle in the new season." At this time, outside the reception room door, a laugh sounded. "Robert, you coward." Mino Raiola, the short fat man, pushed aside a small clerk who was stopping him, and strode into the reception room. Robert frowned. What is the short fat man doing at this time when he comes to the club? The short fat man waved. The little assistant next to him immediately drew a copy of the document from the briefcase and placed it on the table. Robert fixed his eyes on it. "Market research on Barca's shirt sales data for August." "Mr. Mino, what does that mean? I remember you were an agent, not a market analyst." Even their marketing department did not have good statistics, and the short and fat man investigated it one step at a time. Mino Raiola laughed and said, "Robert, if you are interested, you can open it yourself and see it." Robert flipped over. Subsequently, the face changed dramatically. In the last 2 weeks, Chutian's Barca shirts are only 15% less than Messi's sales in the world. What a concept this is. Robert was impressed. "No way. How did Enrique put Chutian on the bench in the last 2 games? Chutian. This genius is the right one for Barcelona." Time flies. In the blink of an eye, it's game day again. Second round of La Liga, Barca host Atletico Madrid. Xavi took the microphone and appeared on the side of the court at Camp Nou. CTV5. CTV5. Audience friends, welcome to watch the live broadcast of this game. I am Xavi, the commentator of this game. The 2 sides in this game are Barca and Atletico Madrid. This is a high-profile battle. CTV5 will broadcast it live for you. Xavi was a little excited because of Chutian's highlight performance in the opening match between the European Super Cup and La Liga. CTV5 specially sent a team to Camp Nou. Do it live. Magnificent Camp Nou Stadium, awarded a 5-star title by UEFA. This course is one of the largest and most well-equipped courses in Europe. The stands were filled with fans' voices. They wore red and blue jerseys, shouted, "Forca Barca, Vamos Barca." They held up red-blue banners. The Barca home stadium, which can accommodate 110,000 spectators, is packed. The green field is surrounded by a sea of red and blue. Above the pitch, the rousing Barca team song is wafting. Countless fans in front of the TV set also felt the shock brought by Camp Nou at this time. It's shocking, audience friends, this is Camp Nou, this is Barcelona, Camp Nou. More than just a stadium, Xavi couldn't hide the excitement in his heart. In the live broadcast room of CTV5, the number of viewers has exceeded 10 million. The barrage began to float out. The second round of La Liga is Barca versus Atletico. This schedule setup is too gripping. Looking forward to it. Will Chutian start this game? If Rakitic starts, Atletico will be even harder to play. It's hard to say. After Harvey left the team, Enrique's tactical system gradually abandoned the pass control suppression, and he seemed to be quite optimistic about Rakitic. Messi's game should be cherished, watch one less game. Chutian's game, cannot let go. Let Chutian substitute again, I won't look at it, and when he warms up, I'll come again. After Chutian played, Barca was called Barca. Duan got the starting list of the two teams. His face changed and his voice gradually trembled. Friends from the audience, Chutian appeared in Barca's starting lineup list. Compare, moment. Countless barrages of various colors obscure the entire screen. Enrique has vision. Finally let Chutian start. Don't let Chutian start again. Does it make sense? Barca fans have sprayed him to death. The coaching staff has woken up. Chutian's Barca shirt, I bought it. 6666666. Barcelona, come on. Chutian, come on. Barca's formation this time is still 433. Barca's starting goalkeeper, Ter Stegen. Center back, Mascherano paired with Peak. Left back, Alba. Right back 707, Alves. Back, Busquets. Left midfielder, Chutian. When he read Chutian's name, Duanxian's voice became more and more excited. This time, the Yenwa player made his debut in La Liga. Right midfielder, Iniesta. Forwards, Nacheo, Suarez, Messi. Atletico's formation is 442. With Torres Griezmann leading the Dow line. Midfielders, Cork, Gabi, defender, Gogong, Jimenez. The side is weaker and weaker, and the support is here. It's definitely a very intense showdown. At the same time, let's look forward to Chutian's performance. This is a moment in the history of Yenwa football. Yen Wuren appeared at Camp Nou for the first time as a player. Inside the player channel, Iniesta turned her head and patted Chutian's shoulder. Come on, don't be nervous, be confident. Your technology has improved a lot during this time, and I believe you will be able to play a more eye-catching performance. Chutian smiled and nodded. Thank you, I have faith. He touched the head of the little caddy next to him, took a sip of his drink. Match status buff drink. Increases host's match status by 100%. Duration, 5 hours. When it came to playing against Mallorca, Chutian didn't drink. But this time against Atletico, you must keep yourself at a high level of competition. Must drink. And more drinks. The music outside the stadium switched from the Barca song to the official opening music of La Liga, followed by Chutian. Out of the player aisle, stride onto the green field. The system's tone lights up again in my head. Ding, mission trigger, conquer Camp Nou. The host must help the team win in the first home match. Quest reward, star skill card. Chutian winced slightly. Conquer Camp Nou? He looked at the red and blue ocean in the stands. A cry rang out in his ears. Forca Barca, vamos Barca. My heart stirred up a mighty cloud. Episode 67, the true heaven that God descended from heaven. The referee blew the whistle. The race is on. Barca's central circle took the lead in kicking off. Suarez pushed the ball to Messi. A tidal wave of shouts erupted from the stands. Messi, Messi, Messi. Courtside, Atletico boss Simeone has a cold face. As long as Messi takes the ball, he is a little forgetful. Barca manager Enrique has a calm demeanor. He is very much looking forward to Chutian's next performance. Friends from the audience, the game has begun, and it is a focused battle of strong dialogue. In the history of La Liga, Ma has won 10 La Liga titles so far. Atletico were La Liga champions in the 13-14 season. Champions League runners-up. Last season, the two showdowns between Atletico and Barca were drawn. Messi passed the ball back to Chutian. This was Chutian's first touch at Camp Nou. Under the pearl lights around the stadium, the shadows of people and balls are reflected. At the moment of touching the ball, Ma's striker Torres pressed up. As a striker, his defensive tasks are equally important. Torres closely carried out the task given by Simone to limit Chutian to the side. Stifle his short, close pass. Chutian calmly flicked the ball to the left, dodging the opponent's outstretched feet. From God's point of view, all-around Barca teammates are stared at dead by Atletico players. There are no short pass lines. Chutian then cut the ball inside his foot and turned. Rub shoulders with Torres. Beautiful. It's the magic of love again. The timing was well grasped. Chutian passed Torres. Face the young man of Yenwa. This Matador country golden boy can only sigh with his hands. The audience applauded. Barca fans cheered. Harvey's signature circle action. Recreate Camp Nou. After turning around, Chutian ripped open the space and passed the ball diagonally to Iniesta before Atletico midfielder Gabi's shovel came over. Chutian's state today is very good. Just one turn, 2 steps, and dodged Torres and Gabi. This is the efficient and concise combination of Harvey's ability to get rid of it and the field of vision. Duanxian's tone became more and more excited. Unconsciously, it has become Chutian blow. The ability of Atletico players is far better than that of Mallorca last week. I didn't expect Chutian to be able to get rid of it easily. Atletico's defense is very layered. They run wildly, and the regional defense is very tight. MSN on the front line also pulled the back line of Atletico for a while. Jimenez and Godin, like two needles of the sea god, sit in the backcourt of Atletico. Iniesta had no room to go forward. He knocked the ball across to Chutian, who came to the right side. The moment Chutian touched the ball, Gleeman and Cork rushed up. Stretch your feet. A sliding shovel. This ball is going to be lost. Chutian has no line to pass the ball. From God's point of view, the figure of Alves appeared in Chutian's vision. He flicked his heels. The ball came to the feet of Barca fullbacks. Cork immediately put his foot away. Griezmann, but did not stop. Skinny Yengwa Kid, the Atletico striker, slammed into Chutian. Call. Chutian was unharmed. Griezmann fell heavily to the ground. He couldn't imagine anything. Chutian, who didn't look strong, why was his body so strong? Chutian smiled lightly. His physical contact attribute is 74 and his physical fitness is 80. How could Griezmann knock himself down? It's also a tough guy like Godin or Jimenez. However, he was a little disappointed in the character of Atletico. In the past life, the media frantically reported the news that Griezmann had poor character and insulted the yellow people many times, and Chutian always thought it was fake. Griezmann got up, his expression looking polite, but his mouth began to spew garbage. Chutian ignored it. He knew that this was a tradition of Atletico forwards, a means of provoking the opposing players. During the CTV5 live broadcast, Duan praised Chutian's one-heel pass defused the forced grab of two Atletico players. His vision is too wide, no need to observe, directly backwards. Griezmann didn't stop. Bumped into Chutian. Oops, he fell down on his own. This is a small misunderstanding. Griezmann climbed up, smiled, and kept communicating with Chutian. It seemed that Ma Jing's genius Shenfeng also admired Chutian. The referee signaled that there was no foul, and the game continued. Chutian began to run, followed by Griezmann. The ball passes back and forth at the feet of Barca players. On the sidelines, Simone frowned and said to himself, how is Chutian's ability to get rid of it so strong? The original set of target tactics is not very effective. He walked back to the rest area, and assistant coach Burgos immediately hurriedly handed over the tactical board. Boss, Barca seems to be starting to change sides. Chutian kept touching the ball. God's vision. The Griezmann who was close to him did not interfere at all. Barca's formation began to change. Messi retreated to the middle. Alba inserted forward. From 433 to 352, Barca's midfield has more receivers. The 442 formation of Atletico, their best regional defense number advantage is gone. Chutian's passing, strength, and ball speed are very reasonable. There was no way they could stop it. Simone's original targeting tactics didn't have much effect. As originally conceived, they wanted to squeeze Chutian to the flank when he was holding the ball. Limit his short pass up close. If Chutian long pass, then Godin and Jimenez in the backfield have an absolute advantage when it comes to competing with MSN for high balls. But they didn't expect Chutian's ability to get rid of it so strong. The passing line is also so precise. Don't give any chance to cut it off. Now Barca, the feeling to Ma Jing is stable, very stable. Chutian sorted out the attack in an unruly manner. Barca's formation, as Atletico retreated, began to change back to 433. He also finds Atletico tricky. From God's point of view, Atletico's regional linkage defense greatly limited the line of passing. In the opposing midfield, Cork and Gabi sit on the left and right. With Grecoman, he oppressed Chutian. Chutian was able to get rid of it easily, but at the same time it also limits Barca's offensive rhythm. The opposing backline, Godin and Jimenez, were very stable and did not have too many holes pulled out by Suarez and Nasheo. It is worthy of being in the top 3 of La Liga. It is a regular visitor to the Champions League finals. The game came in 10 minutes. Although there are no goals at the moment, the two sides are in a midfield game. It was wonderful. During this time, Barca's possession rate has reached 87%. Atletico, with only 13% possession, are undefeated. Chutian, the clouds are light and the wind is light, full of wine and freehand geography to see the rhythm of Barca's midfield. Duan spoke in a flurry of words and excitedly explained the game. The game came to the 11th minute. Atletico were pressed into the big box by Barca. The moment Chutian received the ball, he saw the gap between Ma Jing and Messi's position. The circle got rid of Grecoman, sent out a foot diagonal pass. The ball rolled to the ground and directly crossed the gap between Yago and Gabi, found Messi on the right side of the middle. Jimenez had been taken away by Suarez. Messi easily took the ball. Speed. Change direction. Shake over Godin in front of you. Break into the forbidden zone. Atletico fullback Luis, with his hands behind his back, blocked in front of Messi. Messi was shaking again. Kick shot. Luis didn't react quickly, and there was no chance to fly and block the gun hole. The ball hangs straight to the bottom right corner of the goal. Atletico goalkeeper Oblak was right in the right direction, but his center of gravity has just been deceived by Messi's falsehood. It's too late to block it with your hands. With feet, Oblak's foot touched the football. The football was blocked and rushed away. Is this the beginning of Ma's counterattack? No. Chutian happened to be near the landing point. Chutian looked up, adjusted the position. Griezmann repeats the same technique, directly bumped into Chutian's back. His physical confrontation and height are not as good as Chutian, and this ball is a pity that it cannot be scrambled. Chutian had a god perspective. He was on one side. Gleachman just hit the air and fell a dog to eat. Football fell to the front. Chutian did not stop the ball. In view. Once again, the golden line appeared. It is a long-range line. The drop point of the line is in the upper right corner of the goal. Chutian didn't stop the ball. Do you want to shoot? His position is 40 meters from the goal. Swing your legs, turn around, waist and abdomen and calves at the same time. One kick blast. Call. Football is like a cannonball. Crash into the goal. Everyone watched sheepishly at the trajectory of the football. Oblak looked horrified. Powerless. Football exploded into the net. 1-0. Beautiful. Barca took the lead. Chutian world wave long shot goal. A long-range shot from the stone. The Yen countryman's first goal at Camp Nou. Unbeatable long-range shooting. Cheers all the time. Thunderous applause and shouts erupted from the stands. I don't know who took the lead in shouting the name of the goal hero first. Chutian, Chutian, Chutian. The name of the Yenhua teenager, at this moment, resounded throughout Camp Nou. Right now, Chutian couldn't help but be driven by the high atmosphere. He couldn't help but open his hands to the stands. Messi ran to Chutian for the first time and hugged the Yenhua teenager tightly. All the Barca teammates are also rushing up. Suarez pushed the duo down hard. Stacked up the tall arhits. Chutian, who was pressed at the bottom, smiled helplessly. Can't let me enjoy the enthusiasm of Camp Nou for a few more seconds. Episode 68 Camp Nou. Super blast from Yenhua. Duan Xian faced the camera on the side of the court and was excited. It's so beautiful. Violent long-range shooting surprises Camp Nou. No one expected Chutian to stand in that position. A volley was chosen. This long-range shot was definitely the best goal in La Liga this week. The fans in the stands were chanting Chutian's name. We Yen people conquered Camp Nou. Horses are not fish briskets. Chutian helped Barca gain a leading edge. In front of the TV, the audience watched the goal replay and was shocked. Hanging bomb heavens. The last time Mallorca shot long range, I thought Chutian was just lucky. But this long range shot. 40 meters from the goal, you didn't notice. In front of the shooting goal, Chutian also dodged the king of Grayman. This long range shot. Momentum sinks. Unrivaled. We Yenhua people can also play at this level in La Liga. Shock the four sides. Chutian. Chutian, 666, 666. Simeone looked surprised and his eyes were sluggish. How could it be that from a distance of 40 meters from the goal, he shot from a distance? Goalkeeper Oblak shook his head in frustration. If Messi's shot made him try his best, Chutian's long-range shot made him despair even more. Jimenez, the 20-year-old maggot centre-back, blamed himself. He believed that the main responsibility for the ball lay with himself, and was affected by Suarez, thus allowing Chutian's pass to tear open the gap in the back line. Griezmann looked disdainfully at the Barca players who were celebrating wildly. Prejudiced against the yellow race, he couldn't figure out how a Yenhua boy could kick such a shocking shot. Barca rested, the substitutes rushed to the sidelines excitedly to celebrate. Enrique excitedly grabbed Winsu's shoulder and muttered, Chutian. Magical Yenhua boy. It's incredible. In the Camp Nou stands, there is a sea of red and blue. Cheers and shouts, for a long time. The fans in the east stand hold up signs spelled out Viva Barca. The lap reopened during the race. The referee blew the whistle. Simeone quickly regained his composure, standing on the sidelines, shouting, Luis. Fran. The two of you step forward. Gabi retreats. The experienced Atletico manager was not affected by the situation of falling behind by one goal. He began to change sides. Midfielder Gabi retreated to the centre-back position. Two fullbacks pressed forward. Atletico 352 continued to tighten the pressure on the midfield. Chutian is the new core of Barca's midfield. Increase the oppression of him. The Atletico players also quickly regained their flesh. Torres kicked off and passed back to Cork. Cork's technique is equally delicate, and his passing ability is also world-class. After he received the ball, Atletico players pressed forward like crazy. We're Atletico, not Mallorca. Cork's long pass with one foot obliquely. The soccer ball took the spin and found Fran. Fran is on the right side of the road at high speed, past Alba. It's time to the Barcelona half. Face peaks reinforcements. He passed the ball to Thiago, who was on top of him. Thiago kicked a wide range. The football jumped high and found Luis on the flank. After Atletico's left back receives the ball, he adjusts slightly and directly crosses it. Danger. Barca's restricted area. It's already a towering head. Godin, Jimenez, Torres, three big men approaching 1.9 m leaning on the Barca defender, when the football is about to fall into the box. Three people jump up high. Torres scrambled to the top of the header. Only 10 yards from the goal. Header on goal. The ball hit the crossbar and flew out of the bottom line. Oh, I don't score the ball. What a great opportunity for Atletico to equalize. After Torres returned to Atletico, his state of affairs declined very badly. Barca escaped. The Barca players breathed a sigh of relief. Godin hurriedly picked up the ball and placed it on the penalty area serve, urging Ter Stegen to serve quickly. Simone held her head in regret. Chutian looked at the frustrated Atletico number 9 striker, remembered Torres' empty door not entering the collection, and secretly said, "Fortunately, this Matador golden boy is no longer brave." Barca goal kick is issued. Ter Stegen was on the safe side, passed a bocce ball. After Mascherano received the ball, it was passed to Chutian. Chutian had not yet touched the ball. Fran and Gleeman, Thiago packed up. These three are world-class players. The defensive pressure is excellent. Directly blocked Chutian's forward pass line. Getting rid of it is even less likely to get rid of it. Their own ball controllability can't beat the three of them. Chutian made a judgment at this moment, or it can only be passed on later. Torres also began to run with all his might, joining the rush. After Pique received the ball, it passed to Busquets. Mahjong's players immediately surrounded him. Busquets could only pass the ball to Mascherano. That's it. Barca's passing rhythm, under the pressure of Mahjong's high position, could not move forward. They used their own running to form a series of regional joint defenses, layered defense. While Barca can't pass forward, the back line is equally airtight. The race passed minute by minute. Atletico's oppression is fierce. Barca didn't have a chance. You can only fall backwards in the backfield. Chutian was firmly targeted by Atletico players, and Simeone's change of formation had an effect. The game is deadlocked. Fortunately, Chutian's vision, running and passing are perfect, and he was replaced by other first-class midfielders, who have long been forced to break the ball by Atletico's high position. Duanxian's tone was a little anxious. He is familiar with La Liga games. Once the horse is put into this state, Barca would be dangerous. Courtside, there was no equalizer, but look at the hard-working Atletico players on the pitch. Simeone was full of confidence. Even if Xavi was present, he did not dare to say that Barca could win Atletico steadily. Enrique frowned. Once Chutian holds the ball, he will be aimed at death. The race is coming to the 30th minute. Alves suddenly stepped forward. Received a pass from Iniesta on the wing. He broke through directly with the ball, moved left and right. Past Cork. Wonderful. Lewis chased after him. Godin stopped in front of him. Alves saw Messi. Just a straight foot, but kicked under Godin's interference. Godin, this world-class centre-back, gave the horse a chance to fight back. The ball rolled in front of Thiago. 1 foot-long pass. Football crossed the half of the central circle. Came to the feet of Gleechman. Mahjong's counterattack has begun. Barca, be careful. Gleechman's startup accelerated quickly, but he is not good at breaking through people. Busquets stuck his way forward. Gleechman. Over here. Torres erupts in acceleration. Pique clings to him. The ball left Griedelman's feet. Run to Atletico golden boy. Danger. Griezmann's pass was very comfortable to Torres' usual foot. Torres receives the ball with vigorous strides. The golden boy of the Matador nation was once known as the most versatile top center in the world. Big man. The explosive speed of the first 3 steps after receiving the ball is also rare in the world. Pique was thrown away. Torres kills the forbidden zone. Torres. Single knife opportunity. Busquets couldn't catch up either. Chutian was also desperately trying to defend himself. In his memories of his past life, this Atletico number 9 striker was once a world-class top striker. Can't let him take his chance. Mascherano can only make up for it. He clung to the cork plugged in from behind. Can't let them make offensive cooperation. Ter Stegen strikes decisively. Atletico number 9 striker and Barca goalkeeper 1v1. Torres slowed down. Feet are moving fast around the soccer ball. Ter Stegen did not hesitate and pounced on the football. It's a bicycle. Torres flicked it. The ball passed the Barca goalkeeper. Faced the empty door directly. Everyone in the audience held their breath. Empty door. Torres went straight to the empty door. That murderous Atletico T9. Coming back? Simone was so happy that he was about to jump. The players on Atletico's bench also stood up. They are ready to celebrate the goal, only to see Torres in front of the goal. Gently lift your feet. Football brushed out the bottom line. Empty doors do not enter. There was an uproar. Empty doors don't come in. Is this all progressing? Torres will not enter the empty door again. This ball can definitely enter this year's football funny highlights. What a great opportunity. Torres's empty door doesn't go in. You can make a collection of up to 1 hour. Barca have escaped again. Barca goalkeeper Ter Stegen turned back. A look of incredulity, digging grooves. This cannot enter. In the corner of the stands, Atletico fans let out a sigh. Simeone held his head in both hands, a look of disbelief. This ball? Can you not enter? World-class burst speed. World-class single knife. World-class bike past the goalkeeper. Why your Torres shot? Not even as good as a 3-year-old. The decline in status is too serious. You used to be the first god who set a football record. The players on Atletico's bench also returned to their seats, disappointed. Torres was dazed, kneeling on the turf. Immediately after that, hands meet the face. Countless cameras were pointed at him and this scene was filmed. Cork stepped forward, scratched the head of the number 9 Shinfong, and comforted, "Torres, get up, we are still behind." Duan Xian's tone was a little nervous. It's a pity that Atletico missed another opportunity to equalize, but Atletico fans should not blame Torres too much. After all, the opportunity of the single knife is won by himself. Two very threatening attacks. The game is still a long time away. Barca are 1 goal ahead, but the situation is difficult. The running data of the players on both sides is out, and the Atletico players have run so many kilometers more than the Barca players. Worthy of Atletico. CTV5 live room. Bullet screen flying. Laugh at me, this ball cannot score. Ah. When did Torres become a big parallel? During the Atletico era, the Liverpool period, the European Cup period, he was Shinfong. He just single knife, pedaling through the goalkeeper, handsome and dashing. Episode 69, crazy elevator ball over Camp Nou. Enrique saw the team escape, but I couldn't be happy. There was no smile on his face. Atletico's counterattack just now made him feel more than heartbroken. When Sue frowned, "Coach, Simon's change of formation is very targeted. Chutian, it's hard to catch the ball now." Enrique shook his head. "No, you can't change people. If you change people, we will collapse faster." Forthwith, he shouted at the pitch, "We are leading now. Don't risk losing the ball again." Barca are still leading. Hold on to the score. Atletico's tactic of forming a small local numerical advantage by running is extremely physically demanding on the players. As the game time goes by, it will definitely allow Chutian to find the opportunity to tear open the defense line again. Glichan walked over to Chutian's side and continued to keep an eye on him. Some garbage words were whispered in his mouth. Atletico's tactical system requires strikers to be involved in defense. The referee raised his hand. The whistle signaled the game to continue. Ter Stegen sent a goal. Still no big feat. Alba received the football, passed to Chutian. "Don't try to pass the ball out." Gleichmann, who was still talking nonsense, slowed down a few seconds. Chutian turned around and directly turned the ball along. The ball crossed the gap between Atletico's 2 players. Come to the foot of the inner lesser on the left side of the road. Neymar received the ball and was also dissatisfied with Thiago, who kept talking nonsense. He also made a bicycle pedaling move, feet dangling on the soccer ball, fooled Thiago. The ball follows the left side into Atletico's hinterland. Arrived at Atletico's corner flag district, the audience applauded. Neymar wants to retaliate with a fortat. Jimenez rushed to fill the position, to assist in the defense. Fran also assisted in the defense of the horned flag area. Iniesta opened her hand at Neymar. "Here I am." Neymar ignored it, looked defiantly at Jimenez. He didn't put the young Atletico center-back in his eyes. At the moment when Jimenez stretches his legs, Neymar's right foot stepped on the soccer ball. Pick a heel. The left foot tiptoes smoothly. The football jumps high from behind, over the top of his and Jimenez's heads. It's a rainbow. Will this trick anger Jimenez? Neymar smiled. Unexpectedly, Jimenez turned around just as quickly. He got stuck in the position of the inner teenager. Forehead a little. Just cut off the football. I can't imagine the young Atletico youngster. Experience so sophisticated. He's 2 months away from turning 20. Atletico have another chance to fight back. The football came to Godin's feet. The world-class Atletico center-back also has a long pass. The instep of his foot jerked heavily against the bottom of the football. Football is over everyone's head. Fly to Barcelona's half. The moment the pass was passed, Griezmann was started in the middle circle. No offside. Griezmann stopped the ball and he began to accelerate. Ahead is an open field. Torres followed. Ma was a pair of tall and short double forwards. The burst startup speed is world-class. Peak and Mascherano are frantically chasing. Miss. Griezmann dribbled the ball into the top of Barca's penalty area. Ter Stegen is ready, blocked the angle of the shot. He's going to shoot, only to see Griezmann make a shot, but he pushed the ball sideways to Torres on the other side. Fake shooting. Can Torres score this time? Torres got up straight. Knock on the door. Bang! Ter Stegen made a horizontal leap, destroyed Atletico's attack with both hands. The ball speed is too fast. He didn't catch the ball. Got out of hand. Cork is out in the middle. The whole body leaned on Peak, but he was directly confronted with the empty door. One kick to make up for it. The ball bounces high. The ball speed is slow, but it's too late. Football rolled into the net. 1-1. There was an uproar. The 38th minute of the game. Atletico equalized. Cork makes up for the shot. Both teams are back on the same running line. Ter Stegen has tried his best. Duan Xian's tone was filled with helplessness. Coke raised his arms and signaled to the Atletico teammates who ran forward not to celebrate. Torres, hurry up. We want to overtake. He patted Torres on the shoulder. Torres was his idol at Atletico's academy as a child. Now is not the time to lament the twilight of heroes. Cork picked up the ball from the net. Run back to midfield. He was not Mahjong's captain. He grew up at the Madrid Academy. In the process of growing up, he has clashed countless times with the echelons of Barca and Real Madrid. Cork knows the horrors of Barcelona, even if it equalizes. Nor can it be taken lightly. Chutian looked at the figure of Atletico's midfielder and secretly said, "Atletico is not so easy to deal with. This player named Cork is also a talented midfielder," and he later became the captain of the national team of the Matador Nation. Courtside, Simeone shook the assistant teacher's shoulder desperately. Crazy celebration. It was amazing. Jimenez's defense. Godin's long biography. Boss, don't shake it, I'm old and can't stand it. The white-haired Burgos smiled bitterly. Simeone's tactics have worked for a long time, but they have not worked in practice. He waited for Barca to make a mistake. I didn't expect that the people who made mistakes were less inside. Enrique frowned. This loss of the ball, too undeserved. CTV5 Live Room. The screen plays back Atletico's goal. Duan lamented. Naisheo has no need to be overpowered by the rainbow, and Jimenez is not a defender of the downstream team. World football has developed into 2015, and fancy tricks have not played much for a new generation of young defenders. The handling just now in the bouquet area should be more decisive, handed over to Iniesta, or passed back to Chutian. Barca conceded a goal. There is no need at all. Bullet screen flying. Iniesta was overplayed this time, did not get beaten, but lost the ball. He's beaten up less. A fierce operation. Will Barca lose? A little worried. Haha, you won't lose. Before the game, I guessed the score was 5-1, and now it's half right. The lap reopened during the race. Suarez passed the ball to Chutian. Chutian passed the ball to Alba. He began to comb the attack from the left. Gradually overshoot the ball to the right. After scoring, Atletico became more and more courageous. Morale wins. The oppression of the midfield is even more ferocious. However, Gleachman gradually discovered something unusual about Chutian. Why was the physical fitness of the Yen people so good? Although Chutian's running distance was not high, he didn't seem to be tired at all. The state of the game was very good, nor will you be affected by the garbage words. I defended himself for nearly 40 minutes, and I was a little tired when I was carried back and forth. Watching Chutian receive the ball, Gleeman shook his head, shrugging off the mess of thoughts. Continue to press closely. Chutian saw Messi on the right side of the road in God's vision, stuck in Gleeman's position. Non-stop ball directly 1-foot-long pass. The ball skimmed past the feet of Cork and Lewis, came to Messi's feet. Chutian's foot pass is very accurate. Found Messi. Duanxian's tone was somewhat excited. Simeone on the pitch was equally excited, and he was nervous when he saw Messi with the ball. Messi protects the ball. Get started. Hasten. Change direction. Change the rhythm. He shook Thiago away. In front of you is a wall. Atletico center-back Godin. The two have met many times in La Liga. In the Copa America, at the World Cup, it's also an old rival for years. Chutian looked at this scene from afar. The dark passage is not good. Statistics before 2015. Godin is the center-back who has made Messi and Cristiano suffer the most. Even in last year's Matador Super Cup, Ronaldo punched him in anger, or a combination punch. Triple combo, Godin said. If Ronaldo is a real man, have a duel with me on Turin streets that belong to men. Think of it here. Chutian suddenly felt, see, Ronaldo's lifelong enemy is not necessarily Messi, but Godin, both of whom later transferred to Serie A and had more than 30 duels. It started with the Madrid derby in La Liga, and continued until the national derby in Serie A. Back to the game. Godin has a strong single defensibility. His sense of position, prejudgment and consciousness are among the best in the world. Single defense. He may not be able to defend Messi, but Cork and Lewis were quick to get back in place. Messi speed up, slow down, speed up. It's going to be past Godin. Godin fell straight to the ground with a sliding shovel. Tall and long-legged, he is under the defense of his teammates. Destroyed football out of bounds. After Barca was equalized, the time to play a little panicked. Chutian in midfield was targeted, and the rhythm of the whole team was disrupted. The game unknowingly came to the 44th minute. The first half is coming to an end. The change is steep. Corker cut off Barca's pass in the mid-circle. Look up. Prepare for a wide range of scheduling. 1 foot oblique long pass. Found the front plug of Fran. Fran sped up on the left. Gleachman also began to speed up. Ready to pick up. The two made a Tuveron cooperation. Past Barca left back Alba. Fran holds the ball, ready to cut inside. Mascherano has no way. Drop the shovel on the ground. The foot hit the football first. Fran fell to the ground. Beep. The referee blew the whistle. Dangerous free kicks. Mascherano quickly defended. I touched the ball first. It's not a foul. Other Barca players also came forward to explain. It would be very dangerous if Atletico were given a free kick in this position. The referee waved his hand. Ignore it. take out the spray. A line was drawn on the turf. Dangerous. Atletico's free kick in this position is only 24 meters from the goal. The Barca players explained to no avail. Several of Atletico's players were already standing on the serve. The main free throwers in the team are Cork, Griezmann, and Torres. Cork covered his mouth with his hand and whispered a few words. Griezmann nodded. Moments later, the referee blew the whistle. Griezmann helps run righteously. Episode 70 made Chutian dream linkage. Barca's new soul, sprint, crossed the football. It's a fake action. Torres is close behind, the calf is quickly exerted, and the side foot uses the foot to jerk the middle and lower part of the ball. Football belt drafting crumbs, jumping high, no spins. Fly straight over the wall, towards the goal. Ter Stegen is ready to save. But the football was 5 yards away from the front of the goal, suddenly falling. It's an elevator ball. Football has burrowed into the net. 1-2. The audience side, Atletico overtook the score. Torres free kick break. He didn't get in the empty door many times. But now, the redemption is complete. This first half. Wonderful. As an interpreter, Xavi still has to maintain an objective and neutral stance when Atletico score. Torres's eyes were red. Hugged Cork. He wasn't the team's first and second free throw shooter, but Kirk gave up this great free kick scoring opportunity to himself. Atletico teammates celebrated wildly. Simone on the sidelines also roared with excitement. Forthwith, the referee blew the whistle at the end of the first half. In the first half, there was no injury time. The Barca players bowed their heads and walked towards the players' tunnel. Griezmann glanced at Chutian's back. Enrique took a deep breath. His face was full of sorrow. Walked into the dressing room. Second, be sure to find a way to beat Atletico. Both players and coaches rested. Xavi was not idle. The screen in the CTV5 live broadcast room shows the data of Barca and Atletico in the first half. Let's look at the data at halftime. Barca have 80% possession and Atletico have 20%. Running distance? Oh my god, Atletico in the first half, the whole running team combined, 6 kilometers higher than Barca. What is this concept? This is almost equivalent to 11 people Barca, playing 13 people horses. On the Barcelona side, there is only Chutian's running distance, and everyone close to Atletico runs, because he has to pass and receive the ball while running to adjust the position. With high possession data, you don't necessarily win, but the overall running distance is high, and there are more opportunities to create an advantage. This first half was very exciting. Chutian was limited by Atletico's impact, MSN did not have the delivery of shells, and the combat power was not activated. Let's look forward to the second half. Dressing room. Enrique tapped on the tactical board. The red and blue pieces are surrounded by 3 sheet pieces. Atletico in the first half, using the running, formed a local numerical advantage over our midfielders. They had a very high rate of arrival, forcing Chutian to move to the side, restricting his short pass. In this case, our long pass poses no threat to the horse. Our transmission control system has been destroyed by their high oppression. In the second half, Neymar and Messi, you two retreated to the middle. Help Chutian reduce stress. Every game, for Barca, is a test that must be passed. We were just 1 goal behind and there was a lot of time in the second half. This is Camp Nou. We have to get 3 points. Barca players are boosting morale. Chutian glanced at the tactical board. A little thought. Inside the Atletico locker room, Simone looked excited. Guys, we have to keep this game in the second half. We've got the lead. Barca's small range fits in our solid defense is like juggling. I know some people are tired, but we can't stop running. We're going to be at Camp Nou and take 3 points. In the way we know best. Keep the lead until the end. The 15-minute break in midfield is coming to an end and the second half is about to begin. Players from both sides have returned to the field. There are no personnel adjustments on the Barcelona side for the time being. Atletico side of the front removed Torres and replaced him with Carrasco. The midfielder removed Thiago and replaced it with Saul. Atletico, who is 1 goal ahead, did not give up the attack, and the 2 new players are particularly strong in attack. Xavi looked at the middle circle of the stadium and kept talking. The referee blew the whistle. The second half begins. Atletico kickoff. Griezmann crossed the ball to Carrasco. Last sent back to Cork. Cork blew Ma Jing's offensive horn. The players pressed forward like crazy. With a 1-goal lead, they didn't intend to swing the bus defensively. Simeone thinks it's useless to put a bus in front of Barca. He wants to dominate the game with a stronger attack, more crazy oppression. Cork carried the ball to Barca's half. Split the sides directly from the rib position. Luis received football. Rush at high speed. When facing Alves' blockage, he pulled the ball straight to his feet, waded across the sideline and ate Barca's right back raw. In Europe, sometimes the fullback and fullback showdown is simple. Even though the two were both samba geniuses, they didn't use any fancy moves. The football side is the best ally of the ball handling side. Luis came to the edge of the restricted area. Teammates in the middle press forward like crazy. 1-foot undersole cross. The ball spins at high speed and falls into the penalty area. Atletico, several big men jumped high. Pique has reached the landing point. Shake your head and push the ball out of bounds. In the stands, the Barca fans are very heart-wrenching. Oh God. Thrilling. When Xavi was there, Barca faced Atletico, and there was such a mess. What is Enrique doing? In the second half, didn't the midfield adjust at all? Tie the dog crown. When Xavi was still there was a dog on the Barca coaching bench, and let the dog be the coach, and he could win the championship. Saul immediately ran out of bounds. Even with the lead, the horse did not have the attitude of delaying the game. Pity. The ball was snatched by Busquets. Meanwhile, Atletico players frantically retreated halftime. In just a few minutes, the entire Atletico team ran from a distance and crushed Barca madly. Busquets flanked the ball and dodged Carrasco. A foot oblique pass found Chutian. Messi slowed down. Prepare for the response near the middle road. Iniesta appeared on the right side of Chutian. From a standpoint, the Atletico players blocked the passing line between the three. Duanxian's voice just dropped. Chutian touched the ball with 1 foot. The ball snapped its way around and crossed over Saul. The moment the ball is passed, he had already started to run forward. Iniesta was also a one-shot touch. The soccer ball is gently provoked. Came to Messi's feet. Barca's pace is starting to pick up. The Atletico players were a bit overwhelmed. The football shuttles back and forth between the three. The distance is near, the distance is far. It's like a dynamic triangle. The strength and speed of each pass is just right. Chutian, Messi, and Iniesta, the dexterous running positions of the three people, also made the Atletico players a little weak. Let me count how many times they touched the ball with 1 foot. Oops, what a dazzle. The three of them kept interspersing and passing back and forth, so that the Atletico players around them repeatedly pounced. This kind of cooperation requires extremely high passing skills and running vision. Dream linkage. Jaime frontcourt with reappearance. Offense is far more sinister than defense. The trio quickly reached the forefront of Atletico's penalty area through the exquisite passing and control of Mercury. There are more and more Atletico players around them. Messi faces Godin again. At this moment, there is no passing line. Is Messi going to choose to get past Godin? He gently flicked the ball sideways. Change direction. Not extraordinary. Messi pulled aside a gap on Godin's left. Pass the ball to Iniesta. Iniesta faces the Atletico goal and pushes on his heels. The ball was passed back to Chutian at the top of the arc of the penalty area. Is Chutian going to shoot at a distance again? This position is very good to shoot. From God's point of view, there was no golden far-beam path in Chutian's vision. The instep of his outer foot flicks the ball. Football with eerie arcs. Over the top of Jimenez's head. Made an oblique turn in the air, fall in the forbidden zone. This eerie turn left Atletico goalkeeper Oblak a little confused for a moment. Messi magically appeared in the direction of the football's landing point, faced the empty door. His toes tiptoed slightly. The ball rolled gently into the goal. 2-2. Cheers from the audience. Dream linkage. Chutian picked out a pass to assist Messi. Helped Barca equalize. It's like passing the ball into the goal. Such a perfect fit. What a great game. In just 2 rounds of La Liga, Chutian has scored 4 assists. 1 goal. This is enough to enter the annals of football in Yenwa. There's a lot more to playing. What surprises will Chutian bring us? CTV5 live broadcast room. Dense bullet screen brush screen 1.9 times. It's Chutian's assist again. Awesome. I can complete this kind of cooperation with Messi and Iniesta. That's awesome. Petty teacher. Why does his provocation bend obliquely? This game is exciting. Strong dialogue. More goals. I loved it so much. The technology and vision of these 3 people in Barca, running, are too strong, and there is a tacit understanding formed for many years. The Atletico players couldn't do anything about it. Their high positions are oppressive, their running speed is far less fast than the speed of passing. What tacit understanding has been formed over many years? How many days has Chutian joined Barca? It's an echo of the same football philosophy. Chutian. Barca awesome. Everyone saw Xavi in the Barca front court that lasted more than 10 seconds before the goal. Like that moment, the young man of Yenwa and Harvey's shadow gradually coincided. Fans originally hated Enrique's coaching style. Hating him for letting Barca lose control. Hate him for letting Barca play a disgusting anti-revolt. Hate him for making Barca no longer Barca, but a European Super Cup, 2 La Liga games, and Chutian, who turned the tide, regained their confidence in Barca's passing control. Barcelona knew Harvey. Barca's new soul.